Hi everyone, welcome to Q-Storming. My hope with this presentation is to provide a brief understanding of this method of brainstorming so that you can use it in the meetings and in the teamwork that you are able to do in whatever organization you work for. So what is this method? I'll let you read it, but the main thing I really want to critically dial down on is that last bullet point because this method really depends on the idea that statements close thinking, but when you're able to ask questions, it opens you up to all the different possibilities in the world. And that is really critical when you're trying to do an impactful organizational goal, solve a problem, or come up with ideas. And so this method avoids statements, avoids leading questions at the very beginning in favor of getting all the possible questions down so that you're not missing anything. So it's based on three premises. Most of this is in the slides. And it focuses on three sort of agenda items that allows you to actually have really productive meetings towards an organizational goal. And these are things that questions allow you to do in the meeting. So for example, when you ask as many questions as possible, you're uncovering new questions, new things you maybe don't know. But also, sometimes a team is not clear, it's not cohesive, and so different individuals in the team maybe don't know all the questions that need to be asked or thought about in order to reach the goal they want. So this is a moment to have everybody in your meeting actually understand, work together, and get on the same page about what needs to be investigated, what needs to be done, what action items from these questions we need to do in order to really accomplish the goal that they want. Because, for example, a question that you could ask is, did we at all communicate this in advance in enough time for the employees to do what we want them to do? And if you answer no, we did not, then that's an action item. That's okay, we need to either put this on the agenda so that we have something there, or maybe we need to do this in the future and have it as an action item in the future. So here's a process. 4 to 8 people is ideal because otherwise people can't share or feel uncomfortable with sharing. It's just too many voices. And focus on bullet point 3 for a second. You do want to set some sort of structure. Even if you have 1 or 2 persons strictly in your brainstorming session for diversity reasons, maybe they're offering a new vantage point because they're not part of your project group, you still want to be able to sort of get everybody on some sort of similar page about what problem is being discussed, what issue are we thinking about, but you also want to set a structure so that it's not just, let's think of all the questions and spout them out. Maybe you do it on post-it notes where everybody writes an individual question they have on the issue on post-it notes. Then you post it on a board and you say, okay, this is the problem. These are the questions that we've all come up with the problem. Let's work through it. Or maybe you have a diagram that you use. Think critically about what problem you want to solve and how you could organize questions related to that problem. And that will help you sort of set this structure. Here's more that sort of finishes it up in terms of process. The key thing again is you might want to really think as well about the people you're inviting to your meeting, because if someone's clueless, if someone's sort of meant to be that other voice and they just don't know how to act in that way, you as a problem presenter might have to outline those parameters of the topic being discussed. So this is what you do afterwards. You have to ask these questions to your questions to sort of judge what do you need to do, what do you need to go forth with And you might be able to come up with other reflection questions as well if you think critically about, you know, you have a bunch of questions now. How do you decide what to act on and what to do and what to think about? So the purpose of this method is delineated on this slide. I think the one thing I just really want to focus on is that bullet point 1. This question focus session tries to eliminate coerced agreement. If you have a brainstorming session and the most powerful person in the room comes in with a bunch of statements about what they'd like to see done, then everybody's going to want to accomplish what they want to see done, and nothing creative or brainstorming wise will actually happen. So here's an activity regarding how to follow through with this. You want to think of a problem that professionally or personally you have, or maybe your organization is dealing with, and go through this process. Actually practice it, give it a shot, and notice and reflect on what's challenging, what you need to change, and what's awesome about it, and what it enables you to do. Thank you. I hope this was helpful, and I hope it gives you a little insight as to this method.